For more on this vote, we can speak now to Christopher Vandome. He's a research fellow on the Africa programme at Chatham House, and he joins us now from London. Thank you very much for being with us here on France 24. First of all, Zambia's incumbent leader has been in power now for 6 years. What are his chances of winning this election, and what more can he offer the nation?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me on this morning. I think that his chances of winning are severely diminished from what they were last time round. We've got an Afrobarometer poll that came out earlier this year that showed that there was a declining support for the Patriotic Front. And part of that is the dire economic situation that the country finds itself in. So he's been out on the campaign trail pointing at, as you mentioned in that piece there, these pieces of Chinese-funded infrastructure, pointing at them saying, you know, we have delivered this, we've delivered this, we've delivered this. But the reality is that for ordinary citizens, the money isn't hitting their pockets. And so I think that this is probably going to be one of the tightest fought elections that we've seen in Zambia for a very long time. And his position and his incumbency are not secure. So this is being very, very tightly watched by many observers.
Now, what about the other 15 names that are in the hat this Thursday? Who's best placed out of that bunch to oust the incumbent?
So the leading opposition figure is Hakainde Hichilema of the United Party of National Development. This is his 6th tilt at the presidency, but possibly the one where he's got the most chance yet. So when Lungu came to power in the 2015 presidential election, he really just came in to see out the term of the previous president, Michael Sata, who had died in office. Lungu then won again with this promise of national development through infrastructure spending back in 2016. But as I've said, that economic position has diminished considerably, and Hichilema really faces the kind of biggest chance yet that he's had at taking office. And the key to this is going to be the urban swing voters. So in past elections, we've seen perhaps a pattern of rural voters kind of becoming very strongly allied to certain parties. Whereas in the urban centres, this is where there's going to be the real kind of battleground for these votes. And both sides know just how intense and what the odds are for this election.
Now, the Electoral Commission says that some 54% of registered voters are 34 years of age or younger. What impact might this youth vote have on the outcome of this poll?
Yeah, I think that this is a youth population who have less strong party allegiances, and particularly in the urban areas. As I say, these are young people who are voting for where they think that their jobs are going to come from in future. And, you know, it cannot be stressed enough kind of the dire situation that this economy could be in. I mean, people's wages have been eroded by inflation. There's been long talks of a deal with the IMF. But we're still a long way away from that. A broad agreement has been reached, but there still needs to be agreement on specific policy reforms. And back last year, Zambia became the first country in Africa to default on a debt repayment. So it's one of the first kind of COVID debt casualties, but it was in a precarious debt position long before COVID kind of became a thing. So I think that those young people, you know, really are going to make a big impact on this election.